Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today, I want to discuss about Shiba Inu, Luna Classic, XRP, and what's really going on in the rest of the crypto markets from my perspective and the way that I see things. Now, when it really comes down to it, we are in a bear market. Bear market, this crypto winter, which has been lasting for a long time. It's not normal. And if you remember when Bitcoin hit 69,000 and it began to descend, and that was in November of 2021. So cryptos actually had been on a decline for some time. Then it reached a bottom of 15,500. And then now you see where Bitcoin is like around 27,000 or so. And what's different about this market is that you have the governments and the SEC and other regulatory agencies that went after crypto. That's one of the major differences. And then you saw what happened to Luna Classic and the fallout from that. That's where Bitcoin hit that 15,500. And then after we thought that the recovery went well, things were going to start moving, they kept delaying things. If you guys remember, last September, they were supposed to be putting on the Luna tax, and then there were delays there. Also, too, as well, you had Shiba Inu and the Ethereum merge. There's a lot of good things that was supposed to happen, but it didn't happen in the way that we thought that it would. So the first crypto I want to talk about is Shiba Inu. Many of us, we're in our positions, whether you have buy or sell limit orders. Not only that, many people have reached their goals as far as how much Shiba Inu they want to obtain. So right now with Shiba Inu, we're just at a waiting period and really waiting on Satoshi to make some of those moves. But then I also thought about it. If you're a company who has a great product and you're in a bear market, do you really want to launch that product in the middle of a bear market? I think that's part of the issue. And I mean, if you remember when they were talking about Shiba Inu before, there were all these related projects that were supposed to be on Shiba Inu and so forth. And there was just a lot of people who lost a lot of money because there were all these cryptos claiming to be part of Shiba Inu, and some of them were part of Shiba Inu, but then they weren't really talking about what was going on. So a lot of cryptos surrounding Shiba Inu crashed too as well. Also too, I did share with you guys that Shiba Inu really needs to add a lot more crypto investors, and not just for Shiba, but for the whole entire industry. There's almost 9 billion people on this planet. And I think it's like maybe 350 to 400 million people use cryptocurrency. And so the investor base has to really increase. And so I do believe that when Shiba Inu was launched and a lot of that hype and stuff like that, and things begin to roll, that more and more people will start buying Shiba Inu. Now, when it comes to Luna Classic, and many of us got in close to its bottom back when it first fell. So even if the markets haven't taken off, like people said, the people who got in, who paid attention for that week or 2 weeks, were able to get in at a very, very low price. But ultimately, everything that's going on with the validators and burning and so forth, all that right now, what that is doing is setting up the future for stabilization. That's the way that I see it. Because it doesn't matter if they implement all these things with the validators and so forth. Ultimately, any crypto that makes a run in a bear market is going to come back down. Look what happened to XRP. It should have skyrocketed to $3 or $4 after that win. But it wasn't like a full win, right? It was a partial victory, which could be appealed at any given time. But ultimately, we need to come out of this crypto winter. That's part of it. And we are heading there, and we're getting there. We got the Bitcoin Halving coming up, and I'm getting ready to get into that. But when it comes to XRP, it's not necessarily even the markets themselves. It's part of it. But look how SEC is treating, and this administration is treating crypto in general, and then XRP, right? Remember, this lawsuit started in Trump's administration. For a lot of people, they're probably thanking God that this delay occurred or this stumbling block occurred, because they were able to get in when it was 33 cents and 30 cents, right? And people still made money. It ran up to 80 cents or 90 cents or something like that. But it wasn't like what people thought it was. Even myself, and I even shared here that XRP should have went up to $5. But because there's a lot of manipulations in the crypto markets, and at any given time, The SEC, which is trying to kill crypto. In some respects, I understand Gary Gensler wants to regulate crypto, because look at all the scams that have taken place. If we had regulations in, you can cut out most of the scams. You can cut out all the money that people have lost, right, over crypto scams or hacks and so forth, right? There's just a lot of things that, that would benefit crypto. And I actually thought that Gary Gensler was actually a very good pick, because if you actually listen to him when he was a professor at MIT and he was teaching his blockchain classes, I mean, he was like all for crypto, 100%. And when he got in position for the SEC, his whole tune changed. And a lot of people thought that too. I wasn't the only one, because what he stood for. And so that's one reason why I believe that he's under orders. And there's the confidence in the crypto industry isn't really there. Let me share this. The whole thing with the XRP case, right? They're already talking about having trial next year in April or May. So how much further along is that? That coincides with the Bitcoin halving. Isn't that interesting? But at any given time, the SEC can go after any other exchanges, and which could cause the markets to drop. And then if they're allowed to file an appeal, that's going to cause some ruckus in the crypto markets. So, but there's a couple other things that I think that going into next year, because of Bitcoin halving, and we should be coming out of this crypto winter. So when it comes to this bear market and staying in this bear market, a lot of it has to do with governmental agencies, also private banks and stuff like that. A lot of banks have got on board, but just at any given time, over the next year, especially as we get closer to, maybe this trial with XRP, you're probably going to see a lot more governments or even banks, maybe changing their position on crypto. We have this article right here, JP Morgan's UK bank, Chase to ban crypto transactions. They're telling you can't do what you want to do with your money, but you can use your Chase bank and go gamble all your money away. Right? You can go pull out money, go buy whatever you want. But they're telling you that you can't buy, using their bank, cryptocurrency. This is this is about control and trying to control the banks, controlling the individual through the arms of the government. So there may be some ups and downs, when Bitcoin is eventually going to make its bull run. And so now people are thinking, well, the Bitcoin halving, it's only between 188 days to 200 days, the estimation on when the Bitcoin halving is going to take place. Right? So a lot of people are looking into that, and just to kind of explain it a little bit before I look at the charts or show you the charts. So how does the Bitcoin halving cycle work? Miners were paid 50 BTC per block when the cryptocurrency was originally established. Early users could be enticed to mine the network in this fashion, even before it was evident how successful it would be. The rate at which the new Bitcoin is created decreases by half for every 210,000 blocks mined, roughly every 4 years. As Bitcoin halving dates history, the last 3 halvings occurred in 2012, 2016, and 2020. The first Bitcoin halving or Bitcoin split occurred in 2012 when the reward for mining a block was reduced from 50 to 25 BTC. The halving event in 2016 reduced incentives to 12.5 BTC for each block mined as of May 11th, 2020. Each new block mine only generates 6.25 new BTC. The next Bitcoin halving is expected to take place in April 2024. And the system will continue until roughly 2140 when all the Bitcoin is mined. All right, so there's a correlation between the Bitcoin halving and also Bitcoin going on a bull run. So looking at this particular chart about what to expect for the next halving, right? You can see this chart here, and you can see 500 days before the halving, Bitcoin begins to rise. Then it goes on its bull run. So this particular chart, according to what it says here, halving events have been a significant catalyst for Bitcoin price appreciation. As seen in the chart above, Bitcoin's price began to increase steadily in the 500 days before the most recent halving. After the halving, Bitcoin's price skyrocketed just as in the past too. So when it comes to the Bitcoin halving, We're only 188 days away, or 200 days away. So that's why when Bitcoin hit its bottom, right at 15,500, now it's slowly beginning to ascend. Right? That is the cycle, and then it will go on a bull run. The only difference is, right, you have these other major events, right? You have the XRP case, and I believe that's very significant. And you have whatever other governments are going to try to do. You know that they're trying to launch central bank digital currencies. You know, who knows what they're going to try to do to try to stop this from happening. That chart shows you a pattern. So we're supposed to be, by the next Bitcoin halving, right, we should already see more of a rise in Bitcoin from where it's at now, right? And then we should see it go on its bull run. Now, how can we come out of this crypto winter? You know, and I believe it has to do with XRP and the SEC and their approach. And as long as Gary Gensler is in there and he's taking orders, if he's taking orders, it doesn't matter if they get rid of him and put in somebody else, because they will just follow orders. Right now, the other thing is the presidential election cycle, which could add fuel to any type of crypto run, right? Because in an election year, all the Democrats who are against crypto and the Republicans, they're going to start to change their opinion, right? Mostly it's Democrats, but whoever is running for president at that time, on the Democratic side, if they go anti-crypto, there's over 50 million crypto holders in the United States. They're going to have to overcome 50 million crypto investors. Now, some people vote, you know, along party lines, but if you are one of those, well, you know what? If you want things to change for the long term, then you need to vote in people who are pro-crypto. So with a presidential cycle, and I did some research, and there's some evidence to say that, you know, during a presidential run, you know, the incumbent, the stock markets tend to do better, right? Not a whole lot, but good enough to where people are not going to complain. This year is a little bit different, right? There's high inflation right now. The stock market is stagnant. The crypto markets are stagnated, and there's a lot of people hating on this current government for what's going on in crypto. Going into this next election cycle, if those things don't change, then it's going to be really bad for the Democrats, and they're going to have to overcome so much just to try to win the presidential election. And so are they going to try to prop up the economy and try to pump up the stock market and the crypto markets during this election year? Now, going and doing deeper research, people can start early voting, casting absentee ballots. And it's about about 2 months before the elections, you can start voting. And most people, by then, will have made up their minds, depending on where their financial situation is, where this country is, and there's going to be a lot of voters. You know, there's going to be a good amount of voters who do vote on the day of, right? And a lot of those already have their mind made up. They're just voting on election day. But there's a lot of people who will not have made up their mind. You know, they need to try to lower gas, lower food prices, lower the cost of electricity. And that's going to be very difficult to do. And you're going to have to explain why food is still very expensive, right? So it's all going to be up to where people's situation is going to be at. They need a lot of things to be looking good for a great period of time. After November, they're not going to care. And people better hope and pray that the person that's in office now doesn't get in there, or somebody else, and we have a repeat of 2020. Because if that happens, all hell will break loose in this country, because they will come down with an iron fist. So we are in that time period, 500 days before the halving. Just the major differences are we got this XRP and the SEC and other governments around the world and private banks and stuff coming against crypto still. And so I believe that this is what God doesn't want people to miss out on, is this next cycle. But again, it's not just for yourself and to take care of yourself and your family and prepare for the future and prepare for the worst to come in this country when it comes to food and shelter and where you're going to live and so forth, but also ministry, also evangelism. Those are the most important things that I see that's coming out of all of this. And I just want to reiterate, when it comes to Luna Classic, everything that they're doing now with the validators and everything that's going on with the whole issue is just strengthening itself for the future. Because I don't want Luna to be one of those that crashes halfway into a Bitcoin bull run because of some other issue. Let's work all that out right now. Right? We still got 200 days until the halving. The wealth transfer is coming, and there are different wealth transfers, and I am still expecting a flash crash. And guess what? I'm prepared on every one of my platforms for a lot of the major cryptos for a flash crash. And that's all about is being in position. Most of us been in good position for the last couple years, right? With a lot of different things. So whatever happens, we're ready. You have your sell limit orders in. You have your low buy limit orders in. A lot of you have reached your goals. Some of you still haven't reached your goals. You just have to keep buying and stacking. And that's the word that I got. You just keep buying and stacking. You just stack your dinar. You just stack your XRP. Whatever your plan is, right? Are you reaching your goals? Because when Shiba Inu does hit a penny, there's going to be a lot of people who do become wealthy. And some of us have been stacking for the last 2 years solidly. And when it comes to Luna Classic, many people have been stacking Luna ever since it crashed. And so that is the word that I have, is just to continue to stack. You should already be in position and live your life. The other reason why you stack, put it this way, if you buy more than enough and you've reached your goal, when it's going on its way up, you will have enough to say, you know what? I need some funds. And you're able to sell some off without selling off your entire portfolio. That's the other reason why you stack. And so if Shiba Inu was begin to rise and it hit a penny and then it works its way up to $1, guess what? You have so much Shiba Inu that you're able to sell some without compromising your entire portfolio. That's the whole point for me, the way I look at it, as stacking. If we go down the normal path of the wealth transfer, or we go down some of those other things that, like the flash crash, and people have to be in position. You can't transfer the wealth of the wicked to the righteous if you're not in position. I hear that a lot. And how are you in position to receive the wealth transfer? You don't even have a stock trading account. You don't have a crypto account. You're not invested in any currencies. You're not invested in anything. How are you going to receive anything if you're not invested in anything? So anyways, folks, I hope you guys understand this, that we're not that far off from this next Bitcoin bull run according to what history says. So from here on out, despite the bumps in the road, maybe dealing with the SEC and the XRP, we should be heading into our next bull run shortly after the next Bitcoin halving. And then now that I even think about it, if you guys remember the video that I did on the prophetic instructions for the Bitcoin, that we should be buying Bitcoin in its dips, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but it does make sense that for the last year and a half, we're like, when is Bitcoin going to go on its bull run? But we're not even buying Bitcoin. I'm talking to myself too. Bitcoin should be part of your portfolio, especially for those of you who have a little bit more money, right? And people are like, well, why would you do that if you believe a flash crash is going to happen? Well, aren't you trying to get Bitcoin to get to a certain point? So anyways, folks, that is all that I have for today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.